Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the last lecture of A-level syllabus. This is the last chapter, and today we'll be doing 20.2, the last topic in the chapter. After this, your P3 syllabus will be finished. So as you know, we were doing chapter number 20, further programming, and today we are going to start 20.2, file processing and exception handling, which is the last topic of paper 3. Files are usually, the first thing you need to understand is why do we create files. We have discussed that in chapter number 10 as well, but just to recall it, files are used to store records that include data types other than string. Files contain data in form of records or lines that can have multiple data types together in a single line. Over here here is a list of commands that you would need to use in paper number 3. Pseudocodes when you're writing a question for file handling in paper number 3. Here's a list of commands that you might use. Create a file and open it. For that we use open file, and if you are opening it for writing, or if you are creating a file, you write open file for write. If you have to open a file in append mode, then you do open file, then you write its name for append. If you are opening a file just to extract some information, you open file for read mode. If you have to open it for random access, then you open a file name for random. When you're done with doing whatever you want with the file, you close the file by writing close file and the file name. If you want to write a record into a file, if you have a variable of record data type, you want to store it in your file, you can simply do put record file name comma name of the variable. And if you want to read a record from a file, want to extract a single line from a file and put it in a record data type variable, then for that you do get record file name comma variable name. So the data, one line will be extracted from the file and it will be stored in the record variable. If you want to move to a specific disk address within the file, then you want to write seek file name comma address. For example, line 15, line 192 or whatever. If you want to test for end of file, then you write EOF and you give the file name in bracket. If it is the end of file, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. How to store a record in a serial or sequential file? For that, first of all, you are going to need a record data type. So for that, you can simply create it. Type, for example, type student record, declare student ID as a string. This can be used as the record key as well. Then declare name as a string, date of birth as date, age as integer, and monthly fee as currency. Or this can be in the real data type as well, depending upon whatever language you're using, and type. Now you declare a variable of record data type such as student, and the data type assigned to it is student record that you just created. Then in order to save record in a file, you open file, for example student file or student file.txt for write, because you're saving data into it, or either you're creating data creating a file. For I want to max records, put record means store a record in the file, then we write the name of the file. Either you in A levels you can write it just as student file as well, otherwise if you write it as student file.txt, that is also fine. Then you write student I. This indicates that this is supposed to be a array. Otherwise, if it's not an array, it's a single variable, then you can ignore this for loop and you can just write this. If you have created a array, for example, declare student 0 to let's say 0 to 10 or 0 to 9 array of student record. You can create an array as well, as you know that. Then you can run the for loop to put one record at a time in your file, and for that you should use append mode. Otherwise, if you are just writing, if you are using it for a single line, for a single record, for a single variable, you may as well go for write. At the end, you are just going to close it. If you want to retrieve record from a file, then what you are going to do, open file, student file for read, then for again run a loop if you want to extract the data into an array. Otherwise, if you want to extract the data in a single variable, then you can simply write this get record student file comma student, that is the name of the variable with record data type, and then close file. Storing record in a random file, open file, student file for random. Then you will need to create a variable by the name of address. How will you'll find it out? You'll use the hash function. You don't need to write code for it. You can directly use it. Hash student dot student ID, because this is your primary not primary key, this is your key field. According to your record, whatever is your key field, you can use that over here. Seek, then go to that address. After finding the address, what you are going to do, you are going to go to that address by using seek function, and then you are going to use the put record keyword in order to store the record at that line, and then you'll close file. Similarly, if you are retrieving data, then open file, student file for random. Again, if you are dealing with a random access file, you need to open the file in random mode, no matter if you are writing data or you are reading data. So open file, student file for random. First of all, calculate the address by using the hash function and the key field. Then use the command seek to go to that line where that address is found, and then use the command get record so that the record at that place is copied from the file into the record data type variable, and then you can close file, and finally you can use your variable wherever you need. Last but not the least, the last thing we have in the syllabus is exception handling. An exception in programming is an event that occurs during the execution of a program and interrupts the normal flow of instruction. Now, basically, exception handling is used where you want to code a fail-safe in your program, so that first of all the code will try to do something, and if it fails to do so, then it can go towards the exception statement. For example, you try and write your statements over here. So first of all, your code is going to try whatever line or lines of code is written over here, and then you write except and write statements. If an error occurs, then it will go towards this except statement, whatever is written over here. Otherwise, it will run smoothly and do whatever is written in these statements, and at the end we write and try. Now, exception can occur in different ways. For example, if you're trying to divide something by 0 during a calculation, if the denominator is 0, then it can be an exception. If you read the end of the file unexpectedly, when you try to read lines from a file, but then suddenly you read the end of the file, that can be an exception. If you try to open a file that does not exist, if you lost a connection to another device during data sending or receiving, such as a printer, or maybe you lost your internet connection during a video call, all of these are exceptions, like error cases, scenarios when something goes wrong. Here's an example to make you further understand how to write this or imply this in your pseudocode. For example, procedure divide numbers. Now, if you want, you can just write it without enclosing it in a procedure as well. No problem at all. Okay. But for now, I would like to keep it inside a procedure. Otherwise, it's totally fine. You can write it without a procedure as well. So you're making a procedure that would divide two numbers. So output, enter a numerator, output num1, enter denominator, input num2, result equals to num1 divided by num2, and then output a result, and that will be equal to, sorry, this should be a comma, the value of result. Now all of this is written under the try statement, like try to do this first. If everything goes smoothly, then you will absolutely forget about this except statement. You'll ignore it, you'll go to end try and end procedure. But if something goes wrong, like in case of a denominator being 0, then you'll go over here, because then you are simply going to have an error over here. Whenever you try to divide a number by 0, the computer generates an error. You have studied that back in your AS as well. It raises a flag. Output error cannot divide by 0 or end try. You can, in case if that's not the case, you can sometimes add another exception as well. For example, like if you did not try to divide it by 0 but some other error occurred, you can add another exception as well. What can that be? An unknown error occurred. You can write 2 exceptions as well, or multiple exceptions as well. Especially when you'll be writing code in Python, you can write 2 or 3 exceptions as well. Like if it's a division by 0, give an error. If it is something else, you can just write an unknown error occurred or something like that. So that's absolutely everything you need to know about your chapter number 20.2. This completes it fully. You may have some additional information in your book, but hey, remember, a single book is not enough to cover the entirety of A-level computer science syllabus in enough depth. This is everything you needed, and alhamdulillah, today we have absolutely finished the syllabus for your A2 paper 3 and majority of the concepts for paper 4 as well, because now the only thing left is for you to write these things that you have already learned according to the pattern or the syntax of one of your chosen programming languages, like Python, like Visual Basic, or like Java, whatever floats your boat, whatever is chosen by your teacher in the college, or whatever you like to do on your own. Anyways, if you need my help, you can always reach out to me on my WhatsApp number, which is given below in the description. I wish you good luck, and well, congratulations for completing your syllabus. I'll see you guys with some other stuff. Hopefully I'll soon start videos about Python programming for paper 4 as well. Till then, stay tuned, take care, Allah Hafiz. And I also hope you have enjoyed this series, you have enjoyed my lectures. They helped you in understanding paper 3 computer science a little bit better. They made the world easier for you. Do let me know in the comments if they did, and well, share it with your friends who might also be stuck in computer science. Allah Hafiz.